May 31st, 1989. And my name is Joe Todd. And this is an interview with Mr.
Albert Sanders.
And we're in Manford, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Sanders, where were you born?
Scottsboro, Alabama.
And when's your birthday?
14th of November, 1893.
1893.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Who was your father?
Will Sanders. W.M. Sanders.
And your mother?
Martha.
And what was her maiden name?
Evans.
I'm sorry?
Evans. Martha Evans.
Martha Evans. E-V-A-N-S?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. When did you move to Oklahoma?
Oh. When it's still Indian Territory.
Mm-hmm.
I've been here about myself all my life.
How old were you when the family moved?
30 years old, I think.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember the trip to Oklahoma?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How'd you travel?
Just kind of dim.
Mm-hmm. How'd the family travel to Oklahoma?
In a wagon.
In a wagon?
Yeah, wagon train.
Tell me about that trip.
Oh, I don't remember how long we was on the trip. A long time. I know we get Indians when the Indians was on the warpath, and we had to lay out in the woods a lot of times.
Where was this? You know where it was?
You know, Stonewall, Oklahoma is.
Do you remember what items that you packed to bring to Oklahoma?
No, I don't.
Okay. And where did you settle? What part of Oklahoma?
You mean where we live?
Yeah.
Out around Stonewall, Oklahoma.
Okay, you settled at Stonewall.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What kind of house you live in down there?
A tent about half the time.
And was your father a farmer?
No, he worked in timber all his life.
Timber.
Timber.
Okay. Who did he work for in Oklahoma? Do you know?
No, we worked around sawmills.
Mm-hmm. Did you work in the sawmill?
Yeah. I drove 2 yoke of bulls to a log wagon.
You did. What type of timber were you cutting?
That was mostly cottonwood.
Cottonwood?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How do you hitch a team of, were they oxen or?
Yeah,
Oxen.
bulls.
Mm-hmm. How do you hitch the bulls to the log?
How do I?
How do you hitch the bulls to the log to drag it out?
Oh, they had a yoke on them. And a chain come out between them, hooked to a log.
Mm-hmm. How did that chain hook to the log? What'd you do?
They grabbed like that, just grabbed onto the log, and you hooked into that.
Do you know what part were you cutting timber around Stonewall?
Yeah, we was cutting around Stonewall.
How far from where you cut the timber to the sawmill?
Oh, different times, places.
And did you drag one log at a time?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
How big were these logs?
Oh, I'd say from a foot on up to 3 or 4 foot.
Mm-hmm. One log at a time?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Where was the sawmill?
It's around Stonewall.
Stonewall?
But I worked around timber making cross ties practically all my life.
How'd you make ties?
How do you make them?
Yeah.
Oh, you cut them 8 foot long. To make just one tie, you cut it and put it up on skids where you could get to it with a broad axe. We had a broad axe, and you cut them right that way.
Mm-hmm. How long would it take to make one tie?
Around 20 a day is a big day's work.
Mm-hmm. And what type of wood did you use?
Well, we used oak most of the time.
Oak.
We made them out of practically all, but oak was the main timber.
Was it red oak, white oak, or did it matter?
Red oak.
Red oak. Do you remember the man who owned the sawmill?
Owned the sawmill.
Yeah.
My daddy owned it.
Oh, your dad owned it.
Yeah.
What work did you do around the sawmill besides running the team of bulls?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I done practically all of it. See, at the big circle saw and a carriage, got that log on that and it goes through there and cut, make some plank.
How'd that carriage operate?
Well, the carriage, it had a cable to it and it went to the where we got the power.
Mm-hmm. Steam engine?
Huh?
Steam engine?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What type of fuel did you use for the steam engine?
Oh, wood.
Wood?
Yeah. Back them days, that's about all the thing you had to make power with.
Mm-hmm.
Steam engine.
Mm-hmm. So, what type of wood did you cut besides cottonwood?
Well, we made practically all cottonwood, red oak, practically all kinds of wood.
Mm-hmm. How long did you work in the sawmill?
Oh, I worked around in timber practically all my life.
Mm-hmm.
Making cross ties, working sawmills.
Who was your father's best customer for the sawmill?
Oh, just practically anyone that wanted lumber.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a lumber yard here, you know. You go in and get what lumber you want. That's the way it was then.
How did you keep the cottonwood boards from warping? What'd you do? Did you have to dry them?
Well, at one time I know we cut 1,000 feet of cottonwood and put them up and let them dry. But most of the time people just come in, customers, and got them.
Mm-hmm.
What they wanted to build with.
Does that cottonwood warp when it dries?
Warp?
Yeah.
No, not when it gets dry.
Okay.
But it sure will before it dries.
It will. Do you have to let the logs set before you cut the cottonwood?
Let them set.
Yeah. Let them dry out first?
No.
Okay.
When we cut them, we just cut them and haul them to the mill and make the lumber out of them.
Mm-hmm. How many feet could you cut in one day? How many board feet?
Oh, I don't have no idea.
Did your father have a name for the sawmill?
A name?
Yeah.
No, we had, my lifetime, maybe half a dozen different mills.
Yeah.
No, we didn't have no name for them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now you were in World War One.
Yeah.
Did you join the National Guard?
No.
No.
No, I drafted. Then 3 days after I went in, why, they shipped me right on over to France.
Okay. Where did you take your basic training? Where were you sent?
Fort Worth. No, no, I was just on there 3 days. Then they shipped me to Camp D Quiquedon, France. That's where I taken all my training.
Mm-hmm. And were you still living in Stonewall when you were drafted?
No, Ardmore.
Ardmore.
Mm-hmm.
When did you move to Ardmore?
Oh, I don't have no idea.
Yeah. How big was Ardmore in those days?
Big.
Was it pretty good size?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you were sent to, what unit did you join? Were you drafted into? What company in 36th Division?
Battery B, 133rd Field Artillery.
And they sent, you were in Camp Bowie 3 days?
Yeah.
And then they sent you overseas?
Yeah.
Tell me about the trip over.
Oh, it is. I see. I think we was on water about 10 days, and about our fourth day out, why, along in the evening, there's a big sailboat appeared in front of us, and they sent our battleship over there and investigated, and a bunch of Germans. That was our headquarters for submarines. So they trailed it along behind that night, and we heard 3 shots fire, and we didn't have no sailboat next morning. Well, then the next morning's when the submarine attacked us. That was their headquarters.
What happened?
Well, they dropping the depth bombs.
Did they sink any American ships?
No, and then they sunk in Ghana. We had 1 battleship and 3 chasers left with us. Then we was out there 2 or 3, 4 days, and there's 12 in all that joined us.
Do you remember what ship you went over?
USS Randam.
How do you spell that? Do you know?
No, I don't have no idea.
USS Randam?
Randam.
Did you leave from New York City?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Did they have a big parade for you when you left?
Parade.
Yeah, celebration?
No.
Okay. So, you get seasick?
No, I didn't, but all the rest of them did.
Where'd you stay on the ship?
Where sail?
No, where did you stay? Where did you sleep on the ship?
Oh, we had quarters, bunks, 5 or 6 bunks in there.
Mm-hmm. Was the food pretty good?
At times it was, and times it wasn't. We only had 1 good meal, and that's the day before we got into France, and I had boiled eggs and Winnies for breakfast.
What did the food consist of the rest of the trip?
Oh, it's pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
Just ordinary food.
Ordinary food.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Where'd you land?
Brest, France.
Mm-hmm. And you were stationed where when you first got to France?
Camp D Quiquedon. We got off the boat there, and we hiked 3 days and nights to Camp D Quiquedon, and we stayed in that camp till the armistice was signed.
Mm-hmm. What type of training did you take?
Oh, I was in suicide squad, they call it, a machine gun. I, we had to guard them big guns till they get them back out of the way in case they broke through our lines.
Mm-hmm. What kind of guns were they?
Mine was a Browning machine gun.
Mm-hmm.
Rest of them was, I don't know the name of them. They was 6-inch gun. It was a big gun.
Mm-hmm. Artillery?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, what did you do in a suicide squad?
We had to protect them guns in case they broke through our lines till they could get them and get them back out of the way.
Did the Germans break through?
No. When there was no battle, I never was.
Mm-hmm. Were you in the trenches?
Trenches.
Yeah.
We had the trenches, yeah. But we had our guns camouflaged.
Mm-hmm. How wide were those trenches?
Oh, it was about, I'd say, 6 foot wide.
Mm-hmm. And how deep?
Well, I'd say 5 or 6 feet.
Mm-hmm.
We stuffed our batteries out there, and we dug the trenches and put screen wire over the top of them. Then the camouflage that, so before you take a picture of it, you couldn't even see them.
What is going over the top?
That's when they come over to attack you.
Ever have that happen to you?
No, I never was in no battle.
Mm-hmm.
I was lucky. I stayed in that one camp.
Do you know the date that you arrived in France?
No,
Mm-hmm. How long you in France, do you know?
about 11 months.
About 11 months. Just tell me some stories that happened to you in France.
Oh, ain't much of a story to tell. You know what we done for pastime?
No. What'd you do?
All we done was play cards for pastime.
Mm-hmm. Where were you when the Meuse-Argonne battle was going on? Were you near that battle?
No,
Mm.
no, we was, oh heck, I don't know, hundreds of miles from it.
Where is Camp de Quicodon?
I'd be darned if I could tell you.
Mm-hmm. Ever get to Paris?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
No,
What was the reaction of the French people to the Americans?
oh, they thought the American people was it.
Mm-hmm.
They really treated us good.
They did. You said that you played cards. Besides playing cards, what was your average day in the camp? What'd you do?
Trained.
What type of training? What'd you do?
Well, we done, I don't know whether you know what I'm talking about. They get them all up there and trying to get them march.
Mm-hmm. You marched pretty good?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Then when they say squad right, why they turn right, you know, or left.
And you were in the 36th Division?
Yeah, Battery B, 36th Division.
Mm-hmm. 133rd Field Artillery?
133rd, yeah.
Mm-hmm. What type of uniform did you wear?
I don't know, just a regular uniform. Only had leggings.
Did you have the type that wrap around?
Yeah. Wrapped right around your leg, and then
Yeah. The puttees?
Huh?
Is that what they call it, puttees?
I don't know what they call them.
Mm-hmm. Who was your officer?
Oh, I can tell you one. Captain Elliott was our captain. That's been so long I forgot all but him.
What'd you do on Armistice Day?
Stood at attention all day.
Why?
Well, when the armistice was signed, why then we all had to stand at attention.
What'd you think when the war was over?
That's good.
Was there any celebrations there?
No.
So, you say you never got to Paris.
No, what?
You say that, did you get to Paris?
Paris?
Yeah.
No.
So how long did you stay in France after the war?
Well, practically my whole 11 months was in France.
Mm-hmm. What about after the armistice?
Well, they sent us back home when the armistice was signed. Then the next day, why, they discharged us.
How was the trip back home?
We come back on a boat.
You know which one?
Part of the way, and on a train part of the way.
What boat did you come back on? Do you know?
USS Randam.
The same boat you went over on?
No, that's something different there. I don't know.
Was it a big ship?
Yeah,
Where'd you land in the States?
St. Desire, I guess. Yeah.
Did you pass the Statue of Liberty coming back?
Yeah, we seen it.
What'd you think of it?
It looked pretty sitting out there.
Did you have a victory parade in New York City?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Oh, heck. We paraded, I guess, for, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours. Just marched, you know.
What, down Broadway?
Yeah.
And you got your discharge, and then what'd you do after your discharge?
I went back to oil field worked in the oil field. I was working for the Carter Oil Company when I went over there. And I come back, I went to work for the Sinclair Pipeline. And I worked for them for, I guess, 20 years.
What'd you do with the Carter Oil Company?
We laid pipelines, dug ditches and buried the pipelines.
How big were those pipes?
Oh, from 2 inch on up.
On up to how big?
The biggest line I ever worked on was a 20 inch.
Carter Oil, was that based out of Ardmore?
Yeah.
Ever work on the oil rigs?
No.
No. Okay. And I've heard about these pipe benders.
Pipe fitters.
No, they bend the pipe benders.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, we done that, but most of it with a far.
How do you bend that pipe?
We'd have one end of it here and the other one over here, up off of the ground, and build a far in under it.
How long does it take to bend the pipe?
Oh, I'd say 2 or 3 hours to get a far under it hot enough.
And what's that pipe made of?
Steel.
Steel? And where were you working for Carter Oil Company? What area?
say around Ardmore.
Ardmore?
Yeah.
What about Sinclair?
That's after I come back.
Okay.
I went to work Sinclair Pipeline.
Where were they based out of?
The way,
Where was their office, Sinclair?
oh, Independent, Kansas.
Mm-hmm. You doing the same thing? Laying pipeline?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which is a better company, Carter or Sinclair?
Sinclair.
Is a better company?
Mm-hmm.
Did you know Mr. Sinclair?
Did I know him?
Yeah.
Uh-uh.
Mm-hmm. Did you live in the boom towns?
Yeah.
Which one?
Stringtown, Oklahoma.
Tell me about Stringtown.
Boy, it was tough.
What kind of house you live in?
Tent then.
Why was life rough in those boom towns in Stringtown?
Rough.
Yeah, why was it so rough?
Oh, drinking, whores, stuff like that. I seen roll a naked woman right down the street with no clothes on.
What was she doing?
Huh? They're just praising them, drinking, having a good time.
Is that in Stringtown?
Yeah.
Did all those girls have one section of town they lived in?
No.
Where did they stay?
What'd they say?
Yeah, where did they stay, the girls?
I don't know. That was a tough town.
Where'd they get all the whiskey?
Oh, I don't have no idea.
Because didn't we have prohibition in those years?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody made it.
What other boom towns you live in?
You know, it's been so long, I forget it.
Were there many killings in Stringtown?
Oh, yeah. Every day, me one or two killed.
What was the reason they were killed?
Oh, just drinking, getting a fight.
What were those camp houses like?
You know what a boxcar house is?
No, what is it? Describe it.
Well, it's a long, long house, and it's one by 12, and just box it up, make a house out of it. They're not like these houses.
And that's the camp houses like that?
Yeah.
So you live in a tent mainly, or you live in the camp house?
I lived in a tent when I was young.
Yeah.
Working in sawmills, making ties.
Mm-hmm. Did you and your father have to move the sawmill, or just bring the lumber to the sawmill?
We'd move the sawmill.
Mm-hmm.
We'd get all the timber cut out one year, then we'd move it some other place.
How often did you have to move it?
Oh, sometimes a long time. We get too far to haul them logs.
How many men did it take to work the sawmill?
Well, our mill was, I would say 7 or 8.
Mm-hmm.
But some of them big mills, that use a lot of men.
What did each man do in the sawmill? Could you tell me?
Well, first thing, you got a boiler and made the steam, and that went to a steam engine, and that engine would put a carriage and carried the back and forward that way and sold that lumber.
Do you have a man that turned the log?
Yeah, I did turn logs, yeah.
How do you turn those logs?
The cant hook is the name of it.
What do you call it?
Cant hook.
Can hook?
Yeah, you put that over and hook it on that log and had a long pole on it, about 6 foot.
Now, are you on the carriage?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How fast that carriage go back and forth?
Oh, they'd go pretty fast.
Ever have it break loose?
Uh-uh. No, it had a cable what went to it to pull it, you know.
How'd you talk with each other to find out which way to turn the log?
Well, that did it. One guy run the saw. He'd just tell us. You could talk to him when to cut it. So you'd cut off about 1, 2, around 3. Then they'd turn that over and cut off 3 or 4 more till they got it square. Then they'd saw it off and cut it what kind of lumber they wanted.
How long was the boards that you were cutting?
Oh, I'd say from 8 foot up to 16 foot.
Mainly softwood or hardwood?
We used all kinds of wood.
All kinds of wood. What's the easiest lumber to cut? Easiest tree?
What's the easiest?
Yeah.
Cottonwood.
Cottonwood?
That's the easiest. That's the softest wood there is.
What's the hardest wood to cut?
Oak.
Oak.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a man turning the log, a man running the blade. What else?
Well, there's one on each end of that carriage. Had what they call dogs, and that was stuck down in like that. Then when they get ready to turn it, why they'd take them can hooks and took that log, turn it over, cut the other side.
When you first got your draft notice, what'd you think?
Well, I knowed me and my brother one were going to go, so I didn't put in for no exemption. I just let them draft me in.
Did your brother go?
No. See, we were both taking care of my mother then, and I knew one of us would have to go, so I went.
Just relate some stories that happened in the sawmill. What's the worst incident that you can recall in the sawmill?
I don't know of anything that would happen.
What's your fondest memory of the sawmills?
He'd run sawmills and like that all his life.
Yeah. How big were those guns in France that you were protecting?
One we were protecting was 6 inch.
6 inches?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that the French 75?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Okay. What else have you done besides the sawmill work and pipeline?
Made cross ties back when I was young.
What railroad did you make them for?
Oh, just any railroad.
Any railroad?
We'd put them on the right of way, and the inspector would come and inspect them. and I don't know where they'd go from there.
Mm.
Just where they needed cross tie.
Mm-hmm. Well, anything else you want to talk about?
Huh?
Anything else you want to talk about?
Uh-uh.
About the old days?
That's about all I can know. When I drove 2 yoke of bulls out of a log wagon.
Mm-hmm. Why'd you have bulls and not steers?
What?
Why did you use bulls and not steers?
Well, we used steers too.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you describe Stonewall from the early days? What did the town look like?
Oh, in the old days, it was just a small town, real small.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't over 2 stores in it when we was there. But it built up.
Mm-hmm. What about, were the streets paved?
No.
What were they like when it rained?
Oh, mud hole.
How'd you get around the streets when it rained? You have trouble?
Yeah.
What were they like?
Well, you'd get stuck. Well, you'd have to get another team or something to pull you out.
Mm-hmm. What kind of wagon did you have?
Log wagon.
What brand?
Oh, all kinds of brands. I didn't have none. One we had, my daddy made them.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie.
How often did you have to grease the axles?
We'd grease them every day when we used them.
How do you grease the axles?
Huh?
How do you grease those axles?
Oh, you gotta jack up the wheel and take a nut off, pull the wheel off where you get grease in it.
What else did you have to do to keep the wagon going besides grease the axles?
That's all.
Mm-hmm. Did you have horses or?
We had horses, yeah. Horses, steers, and bulls.
Did you have mules?
Yeah.
Which ones did you like to work with best?
Bulls.
Bulls.
Yeah.
Why are they better?
I don't know. I just like them.
Mm-hmm.
We had 2 big bulls. My daddy and me broke them. And I thought a lot of them bulls.
What were their names?
Tom and Dan.
Tom and Dan.
When my daddy quit sawmilling, he went broke, and the banks come and taken them bulls. And a farmer bought them. And I went to work for him, dragging ties out to Colgate, Oklahoma. And they'd been running loose for a year. And first day I drove them, my old Dan, I got him too hot and he died.
Do you remember when the banks closed in 1907?
Oh, yeah.
Why'd they close?
Why?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Mm-hmm. Was there a depression at that time in 1907?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How bad was that depression?
Oh, it was pretty bad on lots of people. But I had a job all my life, you might say, and it didn't bother me any.
What about statehood day?
Huh?
The day Oklahoma became a state. 1907, when we joined the Union. You remember that day?
Uh-uh.
November 16th, 1907.
No.
Okay. Well, I think we have a good interview.
Well, I hope I helped you.
Yes, sir, you have.
That's been so long, my memory ain't as good as it used to be.
Well, I think it's pretty good. Okay. And this has been an interview with Mr. Albert Sanders.
That's right.
And we're at Cimarron Point,
Yeah.
Manford, Oklahoma.
Manford, Oklahoma.
Okay. Thank you.